All right, let's talk about this. The whole financial world, it wants to sell you on excitement, right? They're always promising some secret stock or a crypto coin that's going to go to the moon, the one thing that's going to make you rich overnight. But what if the real way to build wealth, especially when you're just starting out, isn't exciting at all? What if it's boring? And what if that boring path is the only one that actually truly works for most of us? To show you what I mean, let's meet Marcus and Derek. Now, they're both 36 years old, they live in the same city, and they have basically the same job, same salary. But look at this. Marcus has over $1/3 invested. Derek, he's got $11,000 and a big car payment. So how on earth is that even possible? It's not about how much they make. It's about a handful of small, completely unglamorous habits that separate them. You see, the huge gap between Marcus and Derek, it all starts with a lie. And it's a lie you see all over social media. It's this idea that building wealth is supposed to be this fast, thrilling adventure, and if you're not rich yet, it's just because you haven't found the right secret. And this is the lie, right here. It's that voice in your head when you're scrolling and see some 24-year-old with a supercar they say they bought with crypto. It's designed to make you feel like you're behind, like you need to be chasing the next big thing. But the actual data, it tells a completely different story. Okay, here is the brutal, honest math behind that exciting path. A massive study looked at dedicated day traders and found that 97% of them, let that sink in for a second, 97% lost money over time. Just over 1% earned more than minimum wage. The exciting path, for almost everyone, is a losing game. So, if chasing all that excitement doesn't work, what does? Well, the real secret is that there is no secret. The path to real wealth is simple, it's repeatable, and yeah, it's incredibly boring. And you know what? In a world that's built to distract you, boring is your superpower. The power behind this whole boring path isn't some hot stock tip. It's compound interest. It's like the eighth wonder of the world. And it only asks for two things from you: consistency and time. Let me just show you what that looks like with some numbers that might honestly change your life. And we're not talking about some massive sacrifice here. Let's start with just $75 a week. That's it. That's maybe skipping a few food deliveries, a couple of fancy coffees. It's an amount that feels totally achievable, right? Even if you're a student or just starting your career, you just set it up to happen automatically and then you forget about it. Okay, now you stick with that boring $75 a week. You don't get fancy, you don't try to time the market, you just let it do its thing. By the time you're 45, that small, consistent habit has snowballed into roughly $380,000. This is the point where that growth curve really starts to take off. And the final payoff? If you keep that same boring habit going until a normal retirement age, you're looking at over $1 million, all from just $75 a week. You see, the magic isn't the amount of money. It's the unbelievable power of consistency and time working together. And this is the real-world difference between Marcus and Derek. Marcus's life is built on these boring but super effective choices: cooking at home, driving a car he owns outright, and automatically investing in a simple index fund. Derek, he's chasing convenience and excitement, constant food delivery, a huge car payment, and getting alerts from his trading app all day. Just look at how this adds up. I mean, between just food and transportation, Derek is spending over $1,100 more than Marcus every single month. That's the leak. It's not one big mistake, it's 1,000 small decisions that feel totally normal in the moment. And that monthly gap, that money that Marcus patiently invested and Derek spent on things that lose value, that's what created the $329,000 difference in their net worth. It is the direct result of their daily habits, compounding year after year after year. Okay, so how do you become Marcus? It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart with automation. I'm going to give you a simple 4-step system you can set up literally this weekend, in probably about 45 minutes, that will put your wealth building on total autopilot.
First, you're going to open the right accounts, like a 401k at work, to get that free money match and a Roth IRA. Second, automate your transfers. Set it up for the day after you get paid so the money is gone before you can even think about spending it. Third, buy the boring thing. And fourth, and this is the hardest part, you have to ignore it. Just let it grow.
So what is the boring thing I keep talking about? It's a low-cost S&P 500 index fund or an ETF. Something like VOO or FXAIX are perfect examples. With this one single purchase, you own a tiny little piece of the 500 biggest companies in America. You're not betting on one company to win, you're just making a long-term bet on the entire U.S. economy. That's it. No individual stocks, no crypto, no chasing the latest trend. Now, this system is simple, but that does not mean it's easy. Life, and frankly, your own brain will try to get you off this path. There are these really predictable traps that cause people to give up on this winning strategy, and it's usually right before it really starts to pay off. The first and biggest trap is called lifestyle creep. You get a raise at work, and somehow, within a few months, your spending just magically expands to eat up all that new money. The fix is so simple. The moment you get a raise, you immediately increase your automatic investment percentage. Your lifestyle will never miss the money it never had. You're also going to face FOMO, the fear of missing out, when everyone is bragging about their big wins. You're probably going to get bored in year 3 or 4 when it feels like nothing is happening. And you'll definitely be tempted to spice things up with just a little bit of gambling on the side. The key is to remember that the boring plan is the winning plan, and you have to stay the course. So let's just take a step back. Why are we doing all this boring stuff anyway? The goal isn't a Lambo or a giant mansion. For most of us, especially today, the real goal of wealth isn't about luxury. It's about something way, way more valuable: options.
At its core, this whole thing is about building real financial security. And what does that actually mean? It's simple. It's the ability to handle one of life's curveballs. Your car breaks down, you get a surprise medical bill, without it turning into a complete crisis that sends you spiraling into debt.
And this, right here, is what it all comes down to. The habits, the cooking at home, the paid-off car, the automatic transfers, they aren't the point. They are the tools you use to build a fortress around your future, to protect your options.
So what are these options? Well, it's the power to say no and walk away from a job you hate. It's the freedom to retire when you want to, not when you're forced to. It's that margin of safety that lets you handle an emergency without panic. It's the ability to live a good, quiet life on your own terms without constant money stress. That is the real prize.
Look, if you're in your 20s or even your early 30s, you have the single most powerful wealth-building tool on the entire planet. You have time. Don't waste it waiting for the perfect moment or the next exciting opportunity. The boring path starts right now with whatever you can afford. Just start. Open an account this weekend. Your future self is going to be so, so grateful that you did.